Montreal, you can finally breathe. Your Habs are going dancing.
The Jets need overtime, but managed to clip the Ducks.
And the Stars, the shine is waning down the stretch here.
All that and so much more on this Wednesday night edition of Locked On NHL Game Night.
When that final horn sounds, you know it's time for Locked On NHL Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before, only on Locked On NHL Game Night. Your team every day.
Hey there, hockey fans, and welcome to another episode of Locked On NHL Game Night. I'm Kim Stuart, a sad Boston Bruins fan out on the third coast.
And I'm Tyler Feldman, a lifelong Penguins fan, born and raised in Pittsburgh, but currently loving life in Austin, Texas. And Cam, all eyes were on Montreal tonight, especially all those eyes wearing Blue Jackets.
Yeah, Montreal thinks they always have the eyes of the entire league on them, but tonight was certainly that. Today's episode, by the way, is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Tyler, without any further ado, let's get down to it and drop the puck on the night's biggest game and maybe the season's biggest game up there at the Bell Center. Let's set the scene for you. Hurricanes at Canadiens. Montreal, we have seen this before. They just need a point to get in the playoffs, but we said that the last few games. Columbus has done their part. They have won 1-1, and so they are hoping that Carolina is going to have the night of their lives, and this is what it comes down to. What a barn burner up at the Bell Center. Carolina, although they didn't have half their scoring output out there, they sat 7 guys, mainly all the guys you've heard of from the Carolina Hurricanes. They did put up a fight, but it was Montreal taking the lead in the second period, never relinquishing it, and getting the 4-2 win. So for our local expert, Ian Boulevard, it was a heck of a night for the Quebecois.
It took 4 games and bigger picture 4 years, but with their victory on Wednesday night, the Montreal Canadiens have clinched their spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ian Boulevard of Locked On Canadiens here, coming to you immediately after the Montreal Canadiens have defeated the Carolina Hurricanes. They only needed a point. They got 2 in regulation. Look, Suzuki stepped up with a goal in the time that they really needed it. Caden Gooley put 2 into the net, a couple more into his own net, but hey, neither here nor there at this point for the Montreal Canadiens. Juraj Slafkovsky had a huge effect on this game. Physical play along the boards. On Gooley's second goal, he was parked right in front of Peter Kochetkov. No chance he saw it. The entire first line stepped up. Montreal's headed to the playoffs, a season that maybe, I would say most people didn't expect this to happen. And they certainly made it interesting down the stretch, even into this game. They were up 3-1 in the third period, and Carolina scored, and things got very nervous at the Bell Center very quickly. But there's going to be games at the Bell Center in the playoffs with fans in attendance for the first time since 2017, with a full building anyway. It's an exciting time to be a Montreal Canadiens fan.
The last time the Habs played a playoff game in Montreal with fans there. But Tyler, I think tonight had that feel for sure.
The Bell Center was rocking. It felt like a Game 7, Cam. It kind of felt like, and I might be stretching here, Masters Sunday, Rory McIlroy, the way in which the patrons, at Augusta were cheering him on. That environment, I felt that tonight watching this game from afar. You could hear the Bell Center sold-out crowd just chanting, supporting their team. And the team needed it. It was a great game. The Canadiens, though, they came out blazing hot. Sam Montembault was my guy. He was my player of the game. He's now 6-1-1 in his last 8 starts. He has not lost in regulation in 12 straight home games, 27 saves tonight. He's a guy that when you're going into a series against top dog Washington, you're going to need your goaltending to be at a certain level. And the way in which he's playing is a good sign for the Canadiens going into the playoffs. I just can't believe Montreal really outplayed Carolina in this game. They had so many scoring chances. Caulfield, I can't believe he didn't have a goal. He had such a night where the puck should have been in the back of the net a couple of times. It could have been 8-2 in this game for Montreal.
And you're right. I mean, the shot total wasn't up very high, but the quality was absolutely there. And the guy who gets the goal that gives the Habs the lead for good, none other than Nick Suzuki. I mean, he has been the tone setter all season long. How about this for a stat for you, Tyler? And this is a cherry pick stat, don't get me wrong. But here is the list of people in the NHL this year, players in the NHL, with more goals and more assists. So not more points, but more goals and more assists than Nick Suzuki this year. Nikita Kucherov, Nathan MacKinnon, David Pastrnak. That's it. They've got their captain running with pretty elite company, and that's a good tear to be going on going into the postseason, which, by the way, another fun. This is my stat of the night, Tyler.
Okay. Another fun one.
Second stat of the night. Already two, and this is game number one. So Montreal going into this game had 4 times gone into game number 82 needing a point to get into the playoffs going into tonight. All 4 they had not won, but one of them they did advance into the playoffs. That was 2009, 2010. They lost in a shootout, but they got the point to get there. 2009, 2010, they faced the number 1 seed, Washington Capitals. And this year, you've got the number 1 seed, Washington Capitals. They won it in 7, 15 years ago. Someone wake up Jaro Halak. Can the Canadiens stonewall them again? This is a better series, I think, than a lot of people think is going to be.
Yeah, and I think the Canadiens have a lot of momentum too, and Washington has been playing fine, but they've been resting guys too. So I think you have to factor in that as well. But for Montreal, this is exciting. Nick Suzuki, he was just 1 assist shy tonight of becoming the 5th Canadian to ever hit 30-plus goals and 60-plus assists in a single season. So he was just 1 point shy of that.
1 point off.
But just a special night. And unfortunately, on the other end, Columbus, that game Thursday against the New York Islanders won't mean anything, which is kind of a bummer. Only because Columbus has been such an incredible story. They could have thrown this season in the trash from the very get-go, and they did not do that, and they gave themselves a fighting chance. So kudos to Columbus. Unfortunately, that game against the Islanders won't mean anything, but you have to credit the Canadiens for finally clinching.
And on the Kane side, a lot of new faces out there, including Quinnipiac national champion Skylar Brind'Amour making his NHL debut. Of course, that name sounds familiar. Rod Brind'Amour's son. It's the 8th time in NHL history you've had the coach, father and son, coach, player, father, son combo. First time ever, Tyler, that it was a guy making his debut with his dad on the bench as the head coach. So pretty cool moment out there for the Hurricanes. And staying in Canada with the President's Trophy winners from the last wild card spot in the East to the top spot in the West. Winnipeg taking on Anaheim tonight. Wasn't as easy as they initially thought, but they do get the win in overtime. And Tyler, I mean, you can go all night with the stats. What a historic season it's been for these Winnipeg Jets.
116 points. That's a franchise record. Connor Hellebuyck was great in net. He has 47 wins this season. That's a new franchise record. He's at the top of most goaltending stats this season. Vezina Trophy winner again, likely in my eyes. This Winnipeg team, could this be the year for the Jets? That's my big question. It seems like it could. A 2-1 win in overtime against the Ducks team. And the Jets really didn't rest many of their guys either. So they're coming in ready to play some hockey, and no injuries really of note. That's not the case for some games later on that we'll get to tonight. But yeah, I like this Winnipeg team, and they deserve a shot. It's a question of if they'll get there, but I really do. When you have a goaltender like Hellebuyck, that can really help Stanley Cup playoff time.
Mark Scheifele gets the overtime winner in that one after Anaheim ties it up in the 3rd period. I will guarantee you this. This is a Cam Stewart guarantee on Locked On NHL Game Night. Winnipeg will have the best year of any professional sports team named the Jets. Okay, take that with you. Put it in your hat.
That's
take
funny.
It to the bank.
You should have paused. I needed a little bit more subtlety in that, but that's good.
I don't do subtlety. Not at this time of night anyway.
Yeah.
We've got a few more games to go over. We have teams limping into the playoffs, and we had one with a chance to really turn things around and go on a high note going into the postseason. Can the Dallas Stars do that? It didn't look that great last night. That's coming up next on Locked On NHL Game Night.
Hey, the Stanley Cup playoffs are almost here Saturday night, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the actions right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I really just love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
Chugging along here on Locked On NHL Game Night. Cam Stuart, Tyler Feldman with you. And Tyler, we talked about it the other day. The Stars, losers of 3 in a row going into this game tonight. They have not been on a heater going into the postseason. They've been locked into their position. They will have home ice against the Avs. But here's the get right. Okay, you're on the road, but you're playing Nashville, man. They're already on the plane. The cars are running, and here comes Dallas. Tyler Seguin out there for the first time since December. First shift, 16 seconds into the game, he assists on a goal to Mason Marchment, and we're off to the races, right? 1-0 Dallas, no looking back. Not quite the case. 5 unanswered for the lowly Nashville Predators, and they end their season with the dozens of fans that were in the building. They get to go home happy. Not a good night for the Stars, including some injuries that we'll get to in a second, but a nice couple of games to end the season for the Nashville Predators. Our local Locked On Preds expert, Ann Kimmel, is going home happy tonight.
Despite a tumultuous season full of disappointment, the Nashville Predators were able to end their season with a bang and not a whimper. Hey everyone, Ann Kimmel from Locked On Predators. The Nashville Predators have been outside of the playoff conversation for what seems like forever, but they were able to finish the season with a dominant 5-1 win over a dazed and confused Dallas Stars team. It was the type of win Predators fans have wanted to see all season, with goals from big names like Jonathan Marchessault and Ryan O'Reilly, and depth scoring from recent waiver additions, Jacob Vrana and Jordan Osterley. Special teams looked special. A pieced together defense looked strong, and UC Saros was dialed in this game. It was a dominant final win to the season, but it's likely to leave Preds fans with just as many questions as they had all season long. Next up for Nashville, some tough questions during locker room cleanout, and then they have to turn the page and get ready for a top 5 pick in the NHL draft.
Tyler's an Austinite now. I know he loved that dazed and confused reference in there. But Ann talked about it, the multi-point nights from your Stars. Okay. You know, they went out and got big names in the offseason last year. It didn't work out, but multi-point nights for O'Reilly, Marchessault, and star Jordan Osterley. And they get the 5-1 victory. But really the story, Tyler, is on the other side with the Dallas Stars. This team looks like a mess right now.
Not great. They end the season winless in their last 7, 0-5-2. You play all your guys tonight, trying to get things right. And Robertson goes out, an 80-point guy for your team this season, 35 goals, 45 assists, plus 10. And there's question marks now of what's his availability, what's the injury. Peter DeBoer didn't have answers for the reporters there at the game tonight. So Stars fans are on the edge of their seats now, wondering what his status will be come that series, game 1 Saturday night between the Avs and the Stars. I still think the Dallas Stars at their best are better than the Colorado Avalanche at their best, but the Stars just haven't been playing good hockey. Yeah, you get Tyler Seguin back, first game since December 1st. He scores 16 seconds in. He had that hip surgery, missed 58 games. He looked good. They looked good 16 seconds in. And you had Matt Duchene, the former Pred, assisting on that goal as well by Mason Marchment. But the Stars 0 for 6 on the power play tonight, 1 for 14 over the last 4 games. If you look at the top power plays in the NHL this season, there's only one team in the top 7 that is not going to the playoffs. That's the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Stars ranked 17th, converting on 22% of the man advantages that they get. Now, they do have a top 5 penalty kill, but if they can't figure out the power play, they can't figure out the net situation. Casey DeSmith came in and finished it for Ottinger. What is going on? A complete mismanagement of the Dallas Stars when you really should have things figured out given all the success you've had the last handful of seasons. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And we're not selling this short, how much they're limping into this. This is the first time in 23 years a team has gone into the postseason winless in their last 7 games. Last team to do it, the 2002 Detroit Red Wings, which is pretty crazy because A, they were great that year in the regular season, and B, they went on to win the Stanley Cup.
So you never know. Hey, anything is possible. Anything is possible. It's not a great look currently.
It'd be great for mine and Eddie's Stanley Cup pick. We both had the Stars before the season, so we're just going to channel that 0-2 Red Wings in there. I don't know if Brett Hull's walking through that door. Anyway, the team that beat the Stars in the conference finals last year and kept them away from the Stanley Cup final were, of course, the Edmonton Oilers. We know they're playing on the road to start the postseason. They've got one in California in this game tonight against the San Jose Sharks. And this was kind of business as usual. 3-0. They blank them. You talk about the Sharks being a team that are ready to get out of there, ready to go golfing and start their offseason. Ty Emberson scores the first goal of this one, which in itself is not that noteworthy, but it was assisted by Connor McDavid. And with all the time that Connor McDavid missed this year, another 100-point season for the Oilers. As weird as it's been at times this year, Tyler, this machine kind of keeps on clicking.
5th straight year McDavid gets to 100 points, 8th total in his career. He joins a very short list with Gretzky and Lemieux with those 8 total 100-point seasons. And that's just what you expect. That's what we expect from Connor McDavid. And maybe, again, he's another guy that I look at all these stars in the league, he still has to get his cup. And the Oilers have been so close. Can they kind of turn it up another notch in the playoffs and figure it out? They'll have to in the first round, though, taking on the Los Angeles Kings, which we've talked about last few days here this week on game night. That should be fun. That's really what I'm looking forward to now is that Kings-Oilers series. The Sharks, they were ready to go home. The Oilers did what they needed to do. Wasn't much more to this game than that. Ty Emberson, though, with an assist on Max Jones's first goal of the year. So Emberson with his first multi-point game of the year in their last game. So some cool notes, some cool nuggets, but now the big nugget is taking on the LA Kings in the first round.
Yeah, and with how good the Kings are at home, they're going to need another superhuman postseason from Connor McDavid if they want to be getting back to the Stanley Cup final. Probably the first year since his rookie year that he will finish outside the top 5 of the Hart Trophy voting. But still, get to 100 points this year is pretty impressive. Let's take it back out east. Let's go to Jersey, shall we? Detroit against the New Jersey Devils. The Red Wings fans look at this Devils team and they're like, really? That's the team that's making the postseason? We're not. Jersey calls up Nico Dawes today to put him in the goal tonight against Detroit, who takes a 3-0 lead in the third period. Dylan Larkin gets his 30th. But then the Devils, they make a game out of this.
Yeah, they did not go away quietly. It was 2-0 Detroit after 2, and then there were those 5 goals scored in the third period. The Devils, I'm bummed about this Devils team because I feel like you take some of the injuries out of the picture, and this is a Stanley Cup contender. Maybe that's in the future now as they get healthy. But on the other side, though, I think the bigger story is Detroit now missing the playoffs for the 9th consecutive season. That's after they made the playoffs 25 straight seasons from 1991 to 2016. They were the class of the NHL for 2.5 decades. And it's just weird that the Red Wings, and this is a Red Wings team that if you look at their roster on paper, probably should have reached the playoffs this year.
Looks like a playoff team. Yeah.
It is weird because for you and me growing up, the Red Wings were always in the conversation. And now it's been this fight for them to get back to the postseason. So yes, congrats to New Jersey. You're in the playoffs. You're taking on the Canes in the first round. I just don't see the Devils advancing, at least this year, because they're too banged up. I think the bigger story is Detroit still waiting to snap that skid. If you were to tell me that it'd be 9 straight years for Detroit, gosh, it just sounds weird to say out loud that many times.
And outside of Detroit, the fan bases it should be worrying are the Bruins, the Penguins, the Blackhawks, these teams that are usually have been in for so many years in a row. And of course, we're experiencing our two teams out of it. And to see that it's been 9 years and the players they've got on the roster, it's a tough look for Detroit right now. But we'll see how that Yzer plan works out in the next couple of years because they're dying for something out there. A team that has not been dying to get into the Stanley Cup playoffs are the Vegas Golden Knights. They are in, they are division champs, and they got a big health boost in their finale against the Vancouver Canucks. That is coming up next, plus our stars of the night on Locked On NHL Game Night. But first, a word from our sponsor at Amazon Fire TV Stick. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? You can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your TV. With 4K streaming, you can watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and so much more. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, the second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second generation, and Fire TV Cube. That is the third generation. A lot of generations there, but only one generation has been able to bask in the Vegas Golden Knights. Still one of the youngest teams in the NHL, and yet they keep on clicking. They're in the postseason again. They go up to Vancouver to round out the regular season, and this was a 1-1 game for a good bit of it. Vegas takes the lead towards the end of the second. They don't look back. Jack Eichel back in the game and on the score sheet. But this might be the last time we see one of the Canucks stars playing on home ice in Vancouver.
Yeah, a lot of signs, a lot of posters for Brock Besser. Could be his last game. He said before the game, part of what he said was, quote, "It's tough to say," when he was asked about his future in Vancouver. 500-plus games with the Canucks, one of just 9 Canucks with 200-plus goals and 200-plus assists with the franchise. So a guy that means quite a bit to that franchise. I don't see him sticking around based on the quotes that I read earlier. Part of that, it just seems like the energy I get from a distance is that was his last game with the Canucks. As for Vegas, 7th trip to the playoffs in 8 seasons. Really impressive.
It's not bad.
50 wins for the third time. They get that 50th win tonight. Their last 2 50-win seasons, they also happened to reach the Stanley Cup final, of course, winning that final in 2023. So
you're not saying it, but you're kind of saying it. Watch out for Vegas in the final again.
Vegas is a sneaky good team in the playoffs. Unlike the Devils, they're healthy. They've got things pieced together. So, and they're taking on a Wild team that is coming in with momentum. Mm-hmm. I like this Vegas team.
Hey, Jack Eichel back in the lineup, back on the score sheet with a goal tonight. How crucial is it in your mind that he is back and running the show here?
Critical. Critical. Face of the team. One of the top faces in the league right now. I'd say young faces, but him and McDavid, it's like people still calling Sid the kid when he's been in the league for 15 years.
Sure,
it's like,
yeah.
Well, he's not a kid anymore, okay?
This is year 10 for Jack Eichel.
But Vegas this year didn't make any splashes during the trade deadline. Victor Olofsson, he tied the game up in the second period. They got him from Buffalo in the offseason. So they're just some small pieces. Vegas is just figuring it out, and they've been the standard in the West, Pacific Division champs again this season. So the Knights,
look out.
Vibes are high, I think, for Vegas right now.
And who would have thunk it? Bruce Cassidy can coach. That guy can flat out coach. And the Knights are
used to winning. Can. He really can. And even when you listen to him talk in game, pre-game, post-game, he's got a good grasp of what the team is. And I think that culture obviously shows. And and how successful they've been. Consistent too.
Yeah, and guys want to play there. I mean, that is evident. I'm sure taxes play into it, but you're right. They've got the culture there. They've got the players in place. They got the leadership, and that is absolutely a team that could be playing in the Stanley Cup final again. But Tyler, before we get out of here, we each got to give a star of the night. I will start it with you. Who do you have in our final regular season game on Locked On NHL Game Night? We'll have Eddie and Shukri tomorrow, and then we're in playoff mode. Who is your final regular season star of the night?
Connor Hellebuyck, 30 saves tonight, notched his 47th win, most in Jets history. He clinched the Jennings Trophy for the Jets. That's the award given to the team who allows the fewest regular season goals. Get this, 191 goals allowed by the Jets this season. The next closest, Tampa Bay, they gave up 215 goals this season. That's how dominant the Jets have been.
Wow.
Thanks in large part to Connor Hellebuyck between the pipes. So I really see him winning his third Vezina trophy. He last won it last year and then back in that 2019-2020 season. So Connor Hellebuyck, he made some spectacular saves this evening. He's playing playoff hockey between the pipes. Now the goal is win a Stanley Cup, get the job done, build momentum with the pressure that you're privileged to have in the postseason, and give Winnipeg a championship, give Canada a Stanley Cup. It's been a while, Cam.
Yeah. 31 before you and I, it's been 30. This is year 32 here. 93 before we were watching hockey, since Montreal was the last Canadian team to do it. First one goes to Odessa Jackalopes legend Connor Hellebuyck, and we do have to see if he can do it in the playoffs. I know the circumstances have not been great around his teams the last few years, but this is the best team he's had, and he kind of balled out in the Four Nations, which definitely had a playoff feel. My star of the night, I was waiting on this guy to get one more point. I was hoping he would throw it into the empty net, and he didn't. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him the star of the night anyway, because we mentioned Connor McDavid getting the assist on the first goal of the night for Edmonton. It was his 100th point of the season. The other assist went to Jeff Skinner, my star of the night, because that was point number 799. I was really hoping he would get to 800 to cap off an awesome night. But the reason why he is my star of the night is because the next game that Jeff Skinner plays is in the postseason, baby. And he will finally get that monkey off his back. He will get off the list of the most games played among an active player without playing in a playoff game. The former Rookie of the Year, Calder Trophy winner back in 2011. He leaves Carolina. They start going to the playoffs. He leaves Buffalo. Well, they're still not doing that. But he goes to Edmonton. He accepts the role, Tyler. And I love when guys do that late in their career. He accepts the role, knows that Edmonton's got some studs up at the top. They've got the horses, and he and Corey Perry and some of these other guys have accepted the role. So Jeff Skinner, congrats, playing in the postseason. That is my star of the night in our final regular season matchup on NHL Game Night. But we will have Eddie and Shukri tomorrow, and we will have you covered throughout the postseason 7 nights a week. That is the night that was in the NHL. So make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing here on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. I want to thank you again for making the Locked On Podcast Network a part of your daily routine. And just a reminder, like I said, we will be here 7 nights a week, breaking down every score, goal, save, score, and goal are the same thing. So I don't know why I said that twice.
You're doing great. You're doing
thank
great.
you. It's
Keep
late.
at it.
You're
Keep
gonna hear from all your local experts and the schmucks like us. Cam Stuart, Tyler Feldman.
You're actually my star of the night.
Oh, I need that.
I change it
as I get to bed. I really need that. It's all coming to you on Locked On NHL Game Night.